Hi again, everybody. It is Victor King, the over under guy at Playbook. Of course, our website, playbooksports.com. And I'm also the creator and the author of the Playbook Totals Tip Sheet newsletter. It is the only newsletter in the entire country that's devoted exclusively to NFL over under wagering. We help you get a handle on the totals plays in the NFL. Each week's issue is available on Wednesday morning for just $11. We've got a brand new one that just came out this morning. Again, check it out at our website at playbook.com. We're going to take a few minutes to review a little bit of what happened in NFL week number one. We'll take a quick look here at NFL week number two this upcoming weekend. And if time permits, we'll throw in a quick free play as well, a totals play. Again, last week's magic number in the NFL, 41.0. That's how many average points were scored in the 16 NFL games last week. And NFL unders ruled the roost in week one. That basically says it all. It started, of course, with the under the total in the Thursday night opener between the Lions and the Chiefs, and it concluded with low scoring outcomes in the primetime games, the Sunday nighter and the Monday nighter as well. When the smoke cleared last week, 75% of all games ended up going under the total. It was the lowest scoring week one output in the last 6 years. And if you read last week's tip sheet, we anticipated this as well. So it is the defenses that are certainly ahead of the curve here as we start the 2023 season. Last week, an amazing 23 out of 32 teams allowed less than 350 or less yards on defense. And 17 out of 32 teams allowed less than 300 total yards on defense. Defense is ruled. It was a pretty choppy, clunky opening week. And there you have it. This low scoring statistic appears basically to be a new byproduct of the current preseason philosophy. And this is a mindset in which impactful offensive players either sit out the entire preseason or at the very, very least, they only play one or two actual series in a given exhibition game. It's very, very hard for offenses to get any sort of a flow or a tempo when your quarterbacks, your running backs, your tight ends, your wide receivers can't get even on the same page until week one. Again, we certainly hope all readers of the tip sheet made it a point to bet on some unders occasionally. You're not going to profit in the NFL betting on overs alone. Again, I understand that betting on unders in the NFL and then watching the game on TV can be excruciatingly painful because what are you rooting for when you're watching an under on TV? A lot of punts, a field position game, a chess match between two opposing head coaches. Some people call it gambling torture when they bet on an under and then watch the full 3 hour game on television. But with that said, no one ever claimed that profiting in football had to be fun. And again, if you bet the unders last week in the NFL, you went 12-4, and your bankroll is a lot bigger right now. Again, week one is in the books. 4 games went over, 12 went under. I didn't think you would get any lower than last season's week one results when there were 5 overs, 11 unders, only 42.1 points per game. But believe it or not, it happened last week. 4 overs, 12 unders, only 41.0 points per game. There were only 3 games out of 16 that had more than 45 total points: the Jaguars and the Colts, the Packers and the Bears, and the Dolphins and the Chargers. And in that last game, I do want to thank everybody who joined us, as we only had one over ourselves from our King Creole game day service, the selections that we release at playbooksports.com on game day. And that over was indeed in the Dolphins and the Chargers game. We want to thank everybody who joined us for our over of the week winner in the NFL. In fact, our King Creole service had a really, really nice opening weekend, 2-1 in college football totals on Saturday, 4-0 in NFL totals on Sunday and Monday, a nice 6-1 week overall. And again, our King Creole selections always available at the playbook.sports website. Um, week 2 is coming up. The average over underline right now, according to the 16 games, is a low 43.5 points. We want to be especially careful this week. It can be very, very volatile. I say that because last year, week 2 games went 5 overs, 10 unders. That's 67% under the total. However, in the previous 2 years, 2021 and 2020, 11 and 5 over under and 11 and 5 over under. And then finally back 4 years ago, 2019, 3 overs, 13 unders. Again, just in the last 4 years alone, week 2 has been a very, very volatile week. Yes, we're going to be betting more unders and overs like we did last week. And again, if you're looking for our top rated over the total in the NFL for week 2, it'll be available at the playbooksports.com website on Thursday morning. Check it out. If you join us for the Dolphins Chargers over last week, we've got another over the total winner for you this week in the NFL. And with that said, I got a minute here, guys. I'm going to throw in a free play, and we're going to be going to the Monday night game. There's 2 of them this week, actually, Carolina versus New Orleans and Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. We're going under in the Saints and Panthers game. Now, I say that because we've got the intersection here, or we're basically at the intersection of 2 fantastic under the total situations. Those situations are, first off, the primetime games are on a massive under run. With last week's primetime games going a perfect 0-3 over under, that's 0 overs, 3 unders. We are now at 19-37 over under in the last 2 years for all NFL prime time night games. That's 19 overs, 37 unders, and we're not backing away. We're going to play one of those prime time games under the total on Monday night. Saints and Panthers, we're right around 40 points in the game right now. The second part of our little under the total intersection here is the fact that when the road team has been favored in NFL games, they've gone under at a very high percentage in the last 2 seasons. And guess who's favored in this one? The road team, the New Orleans Saints, favored by 2.5 to 3. So we've got the intersection of great unders on in the primetime games and great unders when the road team is favored. This game has both of those systems applied to it. Not only that, the last 14 Monday night games in which the road team was favored, like this one, have now gone a perfect 0-14 over the last 2.5 seasons. That's your free play for this week. Saints and Panthers under the total. And again, don't forget to join King Creole for our over of the week in the NFL. We've got a good one. I'm licking our chops. This one goes over the total. It will be available at the playbooksports.com website as of Thursday morning. We're done for week 2. We'll check out with you again week 3. That'll be Wednesday sometime next week. And in the meantime, let's make sure we get back to the Mark Lawrence Against the Spread podcast. Best of luck to you in week 2.